Okay, assistant may be too much. Let's say I'm more of an unpaid intern, nowhere near the top of the hierarchy. I've actually only met the man himself once. Apparently he's pretty introverted. I don't blame him. If your main job was to end thousands of people's lives every day, you'd be kinda grumpy too. You see, regardless of what people might say, being death is a lot of work. Way too much work for one eternal demon. So in order to lighten the load, he hires assistants, or unpaid interns such as myself. There are thousands, hell, maybe even millions of us. I'm doing my job right now, sitting in a restaurant, with my notepad. I'm wearing a pretty inconspicuous outfit, as to not draw attention to myself. A Hawaiian shirt, blue jeans, and aviator glasses. Kinda stylish if you ask me. My eyes dart around the crowded Burger King, eyeing every soul inside. Pretty easy place to find people for my job. The more people, the better. Oh, my job. Almost forgot. As I mentioned, death is a busy, eternal being. My job is to notice what people are doing, all around. Wherever I am, I watch. If these people are doing something that could result in death somehow, for example, riding a Segway, God, those are dangerous machines, I write in my somewhat magical notebook. The higher-ups then take a look at my entry immediately after I write it. Please don't ask me how the science works out. I myself have no clue. If they deem the action death-worthy, then they send someone to, see the death through. It all happens pretty instantly. I click my pen as I spot one. Number 1. Man walking on slippery tile. The middle-aged, balding man was ignorant of the "Caution, wet floor" sign as he made his way to the bathroom. I braced myself for what could happen next. This part always makes me nervous. I don't like watching these people die. It really pains me. But it is my job. In the last moments, he notices the sign and navigates around it, safely heading towards the bathroom. Phew. I hurriedly go back to looking around, scanning the crowded Burger King. Aha, another one. I click my pen. Number 2. Worker dealing with scalding hot fryer oil. I wait and watch the kitchen, expecting the poor soul working the fryer to spontaneously combust, or get doused in the boiling oil, or potentially fall in and suffer the same fate as the fries. However, lucky for all of us, she takes the basket of fries out, shakes off the excess oil, and moves away from the fryer, and in turn, the risk. Another sigh of relief. I guess there's a lot of reasons I don't like watching people die. It reminds me a lot of what happened to me. I click my pen again. This one was outside. Number 3. Potential jaywalker. I watched out of the Burger King front window as this man attempted to cross the street against the light. Not uncommon in my city, although it's always potentially dangerous. I waited for the imminent screeching of brakes and the painful thud of a collision. Lucky again, he makes a quick dash across the street and continues his stroll through the city. I guess I got pretty lucky to get this job. Most don't get the opportunity, but after the crash, that's when he came to me. It wasn't his fault. The big 18-wheeler's brakes stopped working. Poor soul couldn't stop the truck as it barreled down the road. He had to choose between hitting into a school bus or my Prius. I was in the hospital, in and out of consciousness for 2 weeks. Really close to dying at some points. Others I was dreaming or hallucinating. But one period I remember clearly. I might have been awake, but I was probably out cold. Then I saw him. He was standing in the corner of the small hospital room. But instead of taking me, he made a bargain. He never really spoke, but somehow I knew what he was saying. Telepathy? Maybe. I might have mistook the ordeal with him for another hallucination, but something about it felt real. The accident should have been fatal, Every doctor in the hospital told me that. Death didn't take me that day. He allowed me to go back to my family, but I was in his debt for the rest of my life. When I woke up, finally, there was a notebook and a pen beside my bed. And here I am now, in a Burger King with a magical notebook. My eyes once again go person to person, watching everything, seeing if anyone is taking potentially fatal risks. Then I spot him. I click my pen. Number 4. Morbidly obese man devouring a double Whopper. My eyes are drawn to this man, in a blue collared shirt and a sports jacket, the buttons from the shirt ready to pop off under the slightest more stress. He has to be at least 400 pounds, yet here he is, devouring a double Whopper. He finishes his food pretty quickly, taking a long sip of his soda. After the soda, he begins licking his fingers. A look of accomplishment streams across his face. He stands up, ready to leave, but is halted by some other force. For a few moments, he stands in his spot. His look of accomplishment changes to something else. His hand darts to his chest as a look of pain flashes across his face. His legs begin to quiver. He makes a deep gurgling sound before falling over, all across the table. The commotion draws the attention of most people in the Burger King, staff included. They run over with the defibrillator. A boisterous crowd has now gathered around the man. I don't like staying around too much after it happens. As I mentioned, I don't like seeing these people die. So I myself stand up and walk towards the door, pocketing my pen and notebook. The sirens wail through the air as I casually walk further and further away from the Burger King. Call it a blessing or a curse, but it is my job. Death's unpaid intern.